Okay, construction class, this next step is some additional practice in drawing and visualization, but also to create a cut list for our project, to know what materials we're cutting, to make it go together smoothly. Now we could probably produce it off of this front view here. We can see that we have cross pieces and our uprights, but it's again, difficult to visualize. The advantage of something like this is to know, well, this shelf here has to be made smaller than these shelves because of what's left available in the room. That's an advantage of a top view, and also to see how this lays out and what space is allowed. An isometric view is going to give us an advantage of perceived depth and also help us identify components. So you are going to flip your sheet over. On the back side, you've got isometric grid paper. Now this is 30-degree angles to the horizon line. I've already started. We're going to draw one shelf, okay? Your team is going to be assigned to build one freestanding shelf. The way you're going to build it is by building a platform, a set of two platforms actually that are the same, and then putting your 2x4s on the outside, cladding them or screwing them on with lap joints here to stand them up and create spacing between the shelves. So we're going to draw this right now. Something to note on here, I have the sun in the upper right-hand corner, which is kind of how this is lit. Any top surface here would be no shading at all. A side surface would be partial shading, and a back surface here, a back edge, would be double shading. That gives us a little bit better perception of this, right? Okay, let's go over how to draw this. Now, our scale on this is going to be 1 block on the paper equals 6 inches, okay? So that's roughly a 1:24 scale. It doesn't quite work out if you put a ruler down, especially. 4 of these blocks is actually like 1.5 inches. But for now, draw out your scale on the bottom. Scale is 1:24, or 1 square equals 6 inches, okay? And from there, I'm gonna start with a new sheet just to make it a little easier too. Notice on this one, we started close to the bottom here and over in the right-hand third. We don't wanna go too far because we're gonna run into the outside and we want some dimensions. So I want you to start just past the center point here. If you find a visual center, go over a couple and up 2. We're gonna put a starting point right here. And that is going to be our 2x4 that goes up, our 2x4 upright. And if that 2x4 is going to be full height, it's gonna just go to the top of our shelf on the back side. We're gonna make those 6 feet high. So 6 feet would be 12 squares up. And I will count that out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Draw the leading edge or the front edge of my 2x4. Back this direction. This is a 3.5 inch actual for a 2x4. So 3 inches would be half of a square. We're gonna go just past a half of a square here. Make a mark. Just past a half of a square here, make a mark. That's going to be the main face of our 2x4. Draw that with me. I connect those together. It is important to make the effort to swing our straight edge over and line it up with our angled lines and then connect those together. Same thing on the bottom. If you just freehand connect them, it's okay as long as you really pay attention to following those lines. Things get messed up easy. Now the depth of our 2x4, or I should say the thickness, would be 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches is actually going to be 1/4 of a square. So I'm going to go back 1/4 of a square this way, 1/4 of a square this way, and I'm just visually eyeing that, and then I will connect those two together. 2x4, I can connect the top in here as well because I would be able to see that no matter what. So I'll go on the bottom edge of the ruler. Maybe that's easier for you to see. Up and to where this meets, this is where it's important when I'm in the middle of a square to connect that across evenly, okay? A little bit of shading if I want. I can double shade the backside here, make it dark. And then single shade the front, a different angle and lighter. We're not going to do that for all of them, but that's a good practice just to help you visualize that upright 2x4. Now, our spacing on our shelves, we are going to be 3 feet to the top of the shelf, okay? So from the ground here, we're counting up 6 inches, 1 foot, 6 inches, 2 foot, 6 inches, and 3 feet to the top of that shelf. So 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 feet to the top of the shelf. This is where our shelf corner is going to start right here. And our shelves are going to be 24 inches wide. So notice that I'm a quarter of a square over here. I want to go, this would be the first 6 inches. That would be 1 foot over, 18 inches, and that would be 24 inches right there. Now I have to draw that line in, and I'm going to go back the depth of my shelf. Now from here to here, I want to go 7 feet total. So I'm on a line, which is nice. Let's count together. 6 inches, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, 7 feet. And where I'm going to be a quarter of the way up this way, I'm going to make a dot right here. That's going to be my shelf edge. And I'll draw that line back, but I got to keep in mind a couple things. I don't want to draw through this 2x4 because I'm going to draw this as an opaque drawing, which means it's not like I can see through the 2x4. It's not a wire frame. So I'm not going to draw through the 2x4. I'm going to start the line on the other side of the 2x4 here, connect that all the way back. What I'm going to find when I get back here is I got to draw that other 2x4 back in here. So that's where it's going to be. Now I'm going to go down this way depth-wise because I'm starting with the top of my shelf at 3 feet up from the ground. I'm going to go down 5/8 of an inch, which is not much. It's 3/4 would be 1/8 of a square. So we're about a little under 1/8 of a square down. And let's connect that over. Thickness there, same thing here. That would be vertical. It's going to get just erased there. And then additionally, I am going to have my thickness of my 2x4 frame that goes around this. So that's going to be 3.5 inches down from here. Remember, a little over half of a square. So from right here, halfway down would be here. I'm going to be something like right there. And then I want to make a parallel line going over and disappearing behind that 2x4. It's going to disappear there. I need a vertical line here to connect those in. Okay, and this is a 2x4. I drew that as 24. Now, if that's a true 24, that's going to be different than the rest of my braces. What's going to happen here is the way I'm going to build this frame is I'm actually going to have 1.5 inch 2x4 that runs all the way along this side and all the way along this side. And you'll see that in just a second here if I draw this bottom runner in. And I'm coming off of this corner right here, and I'm going to run that all the way up till it disappears here. Ran out of lead. So that's my 2x4 frame underneath there. That 2x4 connects behind there, and this is actually going to get screwed together like that. I'll draw some 3 screws in there. That leg will go on there. I can draw this frame back. Like I said, we have the ground here, so I'm going to extend this line. I know this is the corner of my building, or the inside corner of my building. I'm going to extend this up until it meets up vertically with right here. And the corner of my other support is going to be right here. This is that 2x4 leg that's going to go all the way up. And that's going to go up 7 feet. So I'm going to count 7 feet up from here. So it'd be 6 inches 1 foot, 6 inches 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet. This would be the top right here. Count that back down. 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, 5 foot, 6 foot, 7 foot. I did that wrong. I'm a little bit off. Okay, let's try that one more time. So I know that it's coming up from here. The ground is there. I have to, oh, this is a vertical line. So this would be 6 inches 1, 6 inches 2, 6 inches 3 foot, 6 inches 4, 6 inches 5, 6 inches 6, 6 inches 7. Does seem right. I'm going to vertical line here that's on the outside. And what I'm reproducing here is this 2x4 right here. This should actually run, oh, it's not 7 foot, it's 6 feet, that's why. See, connects up here. It's what I was seeing was like, oh, this should actually meet up with it. Well, why? I'm only making those uprights 6 feet tall on the back side, okay? So let's go 6 feet, and now we're just gonna reproduce it to look at the same as this one here. So 3.5 inches or so. And then we angle back 1.5 inches. This will go up as a vertical line, stopping right here. This is where, when I draw through this, I'm gonna have to erase these lines because I would not see them. They would be hidden behind my 2x4 upright. And then another upright here. These get connected together on the top. And a line there. I just need to do a little bit more trimming here. A vertical line should go through here. And then on my 3 screws, this is going to get screwed in here, here, and here like that to pin those in. I've got my 2 uprights here. I can draw on the rest of my shelf. This line should go all the way back. This is going to be 7 feet for this particular shelf. You might be building a 6-foot 6-inch shelf. You'll be instructed as to which one we need. I'm not going to go through my upright here. I am going to stop where it comes out with this corner right here. So it should go all the way back to the back side of the 2x4. It would actually be about right here, so it should stop here. Draw this over, make sure I'm staying in line with my horizon lines, and it dies right there. Okay, I need a couple more uprights on this. So let's go up to where this meets right here. It would be off the floor here, and then go through that on the outside. Vertical line. And it's going to meet up with where this ends, so it should be here, a little bit further up. Draw in the bottom of my 2x4 here, 3.5 inches. This is going to go back this direction, 1.5 inches, and then up, and connect it in on the top. So my 3.5 inch width here, I'm going to stop before I go through that corner, jump to the other side, go all the way up. And then same thing with my outside here. Now I got to clean this up a little bit. That line did not stay parallel. Don't like it. Just make it good. Probably better have it for me to show this side, so that I can see that my lines are staying parallel here. I need this to go back at the same angle as the bottom, and I need to connect these over this way. Let's show it on this side. Same thing with the top of it. And then connect it across like this. You can see our 4 supports there. We're going to have one more shelf up here, so probably could draw that in and do some more erasing. But what I really want you to do is start to understand, like, how is this going to go together? We've got a perimeter here that is going to be 2x4s. These are going to be full length at 7 feet. So to indicate those best, we could do an indicator or a leader line off of it like this. And we can do 2 at 7 feet. These are going to be full length from end to end. This right here we're going to put one on each end, which is 21 inches. We're going to put one on each end, and we're going to put one in the middle and then divide the difference. So we need a total of 1, 2, 3 is the middle one, 4, 5 of these. And these are going to be shorter than 24 inches. How much shorter would they be? If this 7-footer is 1.5 inches here and this is 1.5 inches here, we're going to subtract 3 inches out. So we're going to need 5 at 21 inches. That will space out throughout here. And I can draw that spacing in so that we know where they would be. I need to find the midway point of this. And so if I count squares, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be 3 feet. This should be the center point right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Okay, I'd have one that's centered. And let's just draw a hidden line here, which is a dashed line like this, 1.5 inches thick. There's one that's centered. I'm going to have a hidden line down here for this one. And a hidden line up here for this one. And these are the supports that are underneath there. There'd be actually a hidden line here because it's a vertical here too. If you can start to see that. And then I need 2 more that are split in between these. So I could use a ruler here to say, well, that total distance between the start of this point and here is about 2 3/4. So that'd be 1 3/8 inches would be the center point. Same thing down here. 1 3/8 inches would be the center point. And then I can just draw some dashed lines across this. So we can see our brace pieces in here. It might help visually to do this, to draw a hidden line here. So we know that that's there, and then a hidden line underneath here as well. And that'll start to show us what this is going to look like underneath the plywood. This should get, these should be erased. And then this would be a vertical hidden line here. Does that start to show the frame of how that goes together? If this is difficult to understand, then we're going to draw the top one without plywood on it. Okay, so we're going to draw the top frame without plywood on it. And let's do that now. So we're just going to draw the frame member. It's going to start right here, go all the way back 7 feet, and that's going to be a 2x4 on edge, just like the one below. 6 inches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's our back edge. We got to come forward this way 1.5 inches, and then go back again. It's not quite parallel. Draw our upright 2x4 here. a little over a half square. Now this one's going to have quite a bit that's going to get erased out of it, so I'm going to draw this a little lighter from front to back here. And a vertical to connect here. Let's draw our front board here because that's the one that's not going to get erased. We need a connecting board from here to here. And then this way 1.5 inches for our width. Vertically 3.5 inches. Connect that back, and then that goes all the way up there. So from this point right here, we want a parallel line that disappears behind there. Now, let's do a little erasing. This has got to go away because this is a solid board here, so we're not going to see those vertical lines. And even more than that, we need some boards that connect across the end here. With this 2x4 right here, let's draw that in. Erase this. And actually this will get erased too. This 2x4 would start right here. Go over, that's going to be a 21-inch 2x4. Let's show the depth here, or the thickness of 1.5 inches across the top of it. So what I'm doing here is showing what the frame would look like without the plywood on top of it. Let's do the same thing on this end down here. Come down 1.5 inches. And then this is going to be a vertical line, 3.5, and connect all the way down. A little bit of trimming and erasing to do there. These vertical lines kind of mess with you visually. There's a solid 2x4 there. Okay, and then I just have my brace pieces to put in here. And what I want to come up with here is a cut list of all of these components that I need. These 2 at 7, I actually need 2 at 7 for each shelf, so I need a total of 4 at 7 feet. These, I'm going to need 10 of these at 21 inches because I need the top ones as well. Let's find the center of that. It should actually be aligned here. Go center right there. I'm going to draw in the rest of these components. There's that one, and then I have to split the difference between these two. Right there. Okay, construction, we are just bringing this drawing in for a close. I've added a little bit more detail. I wanted to highlight that. I mentioned that we can build this on paper so that we can figure out a lot of what we need to know before we go to build it in real life, like how our joints going to go together. Well, these would be T-joints, just flush surface into here, and we're going to join these boards together. We're going to put 2 screws in the end on each side, so there will be screws over here as well. We just can't see them. And then to join our uprights, we're going to put 3 screws in a triangular pattern in the ends of these boards that will tie into our horizontals here, our long boards. Additionally, we're going to leave these boards longer at 7 feet or 84 inches. And the reason is I think it'll be handy to be able to hang hoses or other objects over those as uprights. So we don't want to cut them flush. This is going to be the inside of the room here. So our uprights, we're going to have 2 that are going to be 72 inches, and we're going to have 2 on the front side that are going to be 84 inches or 7 feet. Now these are also going to be 84 inches, these long horizontals for this shelf. If we flip over to the working drawing here, the isometric view, if you chose to finish this one out, we can figure out that this is really tight in here the way we have it drawn. And this is the shelf that we're looking at. We're going to call that an alpha shelf because it's going to be a 7-foot long shelf. And then our Bravo shelves have to fit in here. If I add up everything I have for available space, I only have 6 foot 6 inches right to the edge here, and that's not counting in that 2x4 on edge or one down here as well. They don't fit. Mathematically, these shelves are 24 inches wide, plus 1.5 inches on the outside here, plus 1.5 inches here for my braces. So that's plus 3 here, plus another 1.5 inches, 1.5 inches, that's plus another 3 inches, plus my 24. So my total inches here, 48, 51, 54 inches, or 4 foot 6 inches. If I subtract that from my overall inside room, which is 10 foot 8, that leaves me with only 6 foot 2 inches of room between these. So it's important that I figure that out now, because we were going to make these 6 foot 6, they wouldn't actually fit in there. That'd be bad. So we're going to make these other shelves, what we're calling the Bravo shelves. Those are going to be 6 footers, and the Alpha shelves are going to be 7 footers. So you're going to be assigned as a team either an Alpha shelf, of which we need 4, because we need 1, 2 Alphas in the softball and 3, 4, or 2 more in the baseball. Or a Bravo shelf, which is the shorter one, and we'll need 2 of those. So let's write a cut list up, and we're going to write a cut list for 1 shelf, okay? Cut list for Alpha shelf. Looking at what we have the most of here, to start with, we've got these horizontals here. We know that we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those on the top, and 5 more for the second shelf, so we need 10 at 21 inches. So I'm going to go 2x4, 10 at 21 inches. Now those are shorts, and we don't want to take those out of a full board if we don't have to. So what else on this, if we cut it, would give us some usable material? Well, these uprights here, these 6 footers, they're going to be cut out of an 8-foot board. So I know I need 2 at 72 inches, which is also 6 feet. So I'm going to go 2x4, 2 at 72 inches. And I know from that I'm going to have to use the 2-foot drop, or use the 24-inch drop for a, we'll call that a brace. These are braces. This would be a short upright. And this would be a long upright. We're going to need 2x4, 2 of those at 7 feet. So 2 at also 84 inches. And then we need the shelf joists. What do we want to call these longer shelf sides here? So we've got 2x4, and we need 1, 2, 3, 4 of those. 4 at 84 inches. So we actually need a total of 6 at 84, but these are going to be shelf side headers. Maybe that's a word we could use there. We need 2 pieces of plywood that are going to be 24 inches by 84 inches. We're going to cut those to be the exact size. So we're going to go plywood. This is actually going to be 5/8 inch plywood. We need 2 at 24 inches by 84 inches. And then we need enough screws to put it together. I think that's all the components we would need. So this cut list is what we can start to get to work on. When we have our components ready, we can start to assemble. Now, the short pieces, we don't want to take those out of fulls. Like I said, we never want to cut an 8-foot board if we don't have to. So I've got a whole inventory of short materials that I will share with you that we can use up for those, okay? This was for the Alpha shelf. The only difference here for a Bravo shelf is that you are going to have 4 at 72 inches. You're going to have, oh no, you're going to have more than that. These horizontals are going to be 6-footers. So you're actually going to have 6 at 72 and only 2 at 84. So cut list, 2x4, 10 at 21. That's going to stay the same. 2x4, 6 at 72. 2x4, 2 at 84. Those would be for our uprights right there, our taller uprights. And that's it. It's a little bit simpler, I think. And then our plywood, 5/8 inch plywood. We need 2 at 24 inches by, in this case, they're going to be shorter, 72 inches or 6 foot. Okay, so if you are on a Bravo shelf, there's going to be 2 of these. Need 2. Actually, we need 4 of them total. Well, we need 2 shelves total. And for Alpha shelf, we need 4. We will assign you to one of those and you can get to work.